Every day, millions of whey protein bottles are made in factories, shipped to stores, and consumed by people around the world who rely on them for muscle recovery, fitness, and overall health. But have you ever wondered how these bottles come to life? From the raw materials to the packaging, it's a massive operation that powers one of the biggest industries in the world. This documentary will take you behind the scenes to reveal the entire process, from the dairy farms to the high-tech manufacturing plants where millions of bottles are produced every day. Let's take a deep dive into the fascinating journey of whey protein, uncover the secrets of its production, and explore how a once-discarded byproduct became a global health staple. The journey of whey protein begins far away from the factory floor. It starts at the dairy farms, where cows are milked twice a day to produce the milk needed for whey protein production. On average, a dairy cow can produce around 30 liters of milk per day, but only about 3% of that milk is protein, and around 19% of that protein is whey. This means that for every 100 liters of milk, roughly 5.7 liters are whey protein. The challenge for the industry is gathering enough milk from farms to produce the thousands of bottles of whey protein required each day. But these dairy farms are more than just farms. They are massive operations. The cows are bred specifically for milk production, and the milk they produce is directly linked to the protein powder we use every day. The cows are often kept in large barns where they are milked on a schedule to maximize milk yield. The importance of high-quality milk cannot be overstated. Healthy, well-fed cows produce better milk, which in turn creates a better quality of whey protein. But there are hidden costs and concerns associated with these large dairy farms. From the use of feed crops that require enormous amounts of water and land, to the ethical concerns about animal welfare, the dairy industry has a significant environmental and ethical footprint. With the growing demand for whey protein, these issues are becoming more pronounced. Once the milk is collected from the dairy farms, it makes its way to the processing plant. The first step in the factory involves pasteurizing the milk. Pasteurization is the process of heating the milk to a temperature of around 60 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes. This step is essential to eliminate any harmful bacteria and ensure that the milk is safe for consumption. After pasteurization, the milk is rapidly cooled to around 4 degrees Celsius to preserve its freshness and prevent the growth of any bacteria that might still be present. After pasteurization, the milk is pumped into large vats, where it undergoes a critical transformation. A coagulant is added to the milk, causing it to separate into curds and whey. The curds are the solid mass that will be used to make cheese, while the remaining liquid is whey, which contains the proteins, minerals, and carbohydrates that will later be turned into whey protein. At this point, the whey is still full of fats, lactose, and other impurities, which need to be removed in order to create a pure, protein-rich product. The first step in this purification process is filtration, and this is where the magic of whey protein begins. After the curds are separated from the whey, the liquid whey is directed through a series of filtration steps. This is one of the most important parts of the entire manufacturing process. The whey protein is separated from fats, minerals, and lactose using advanced filtration methods like microfiltration and cross-flow filtration. These techniques allow for the separation of larger particles, leaving behind a concentrated protein liquid that is the foundation for whey protein powder. But the process doesn't stop there. In some cases, ultrafiltration is used to further refine the whey protein and remove even smaller particles. This ensures that the final product contains as little fat and lactose as possible while retaining as much protein as possible. At this stage, the whey is still in a liquid form, but it is already much more concentrated and protein-rich than it was when it first left the cow. Some plants even go further and use methods like ion exchange to further purify the whey protein. Once the whey protein is purified, it is concentrated into a liquid that can be dried into powder. But how does the liquid whey turn into the powder we see in our protein containers? Let's take a look at the drying and powdering process. After the whey protein is purified and concentrated, it must be dried to form the familiar powder we all recognize. The liquid whey concentrate is introduced into a drying chamber where hot and cold air is used to remove the remaining moisture. This process is extremely delicate because the temperature needs to be carefully controlled to prevent damaging the proteins. If the whey is exposed to heat that's too high, the proteins can break down, losing their effectiveness and nutritional value. The drying process, therefore, requires a combination of hot air and cold air to ensure that the powder retains its quality. Once the whey has been dried, it forms a fine powder that is sifted through a fine mesh to remove any larger particles. This is an important step because uneven powder consistency can affect the texture and taste of the final product. After sifting, the whey protein powder is then mixed to ensure that it is uniform throughout, creating a smooth and consistent product that will be packaged and sold. While pure whey protein has a slightly bland taste, most consumers expect protein powder to taste good, especially when it's being used daily as part of a meal replacement or post-workout recovery. To make the protein powder more palatable, various flavors and sweeteners are added. Flavors like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and banana are commonly used to make the protein powder taste like a treat rather than a health supplement. But flavoring doesn't stop at just adding taste. Many protein powders also contain sweeteners to enhance the flavor without adding sugar. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and stevia are commonly used, but they've also sparked some controversy. While the FDA deems artificial sweeteners safe, some studies have raised concerns about their potential long-term effects. As a result, there's a growing demand for more natural protein powders that avoid artificial ingredients and rely on natural sweeteners like stevia or monk fruit. In addition to flavoring and sweetening, some whey protein powders contain other additives like thickening agents and preservatives. These ingredients help improve the texture and shelf life of the powder, but they can also raise concerns among health-conscious consumers. Some people prefer clean, additive-free protein powders that contain only whey protein and minimal extra ingredients. Once the whey protein is flavored and mixed, it's time to package it. The packaging process involves filling plastic tubs or resealable bags with the protein powder. The containers are then sealed to ensure that the product is protected from contamination. To maintain the product's freshness, tamper-proof seals or plastic rings are often used to make sure that the consumer receives the product in the same condition it left the factory. The next step is labeling. Each container must be labeled with the correct nutritional information, ingredients, expiration date, and batch number. The label must also include any claims about the product, such as whether it's gluten-free, non-GMO, or made with grass-fed whey. Labeling is a crucial part of the process because it informs the consumer about what they're purchasing. However, some consumers have raised concerns about the accuracy of product labels. There have been instances where protein powder companies have been accused of protein spiking, adding cheaper amino acids to boost the protein count on the label without providing the full nutritional benefits of real whey protein. Once the containers are filled, sealed, and labeled, they are packaged into boxes and shipped to retailers around the world. Whether it's through large distribution centers or direct-to-consumer shipping, the protein powder is transported to health food stores, supermarkets, gyms, or online retailers. Whey protein has become a global product, and it's shipped to retailers around the world. When it reaches stores, it is often placed in the health food aisle or near the fitness supplements section. In some cases, protein powders are even displayed in specialized sections of gyms or fitness centers. The competition is fierce, with dozens of brands, flavors, and formulations available on the shelves. Consumers can choose from whey protein isolate, whey protein concentrate, mass gainers, or even plant-based options. Online retailing has also grown dramatically, with major platforms like Amazon, bodybuilding.com, and iHerb offering a vast selection of whey protein powders. Online shopping allows customers to easily compare brands, read reviews, and choose the protein powder that best fits their needs. Some brands even offer subscription services, sending consumers a new tub of protein powder every month. Whey protein powder is designed to last a long time, but like all food products, it has an expiration date. Most whey protein powders have a shelf life of 1 to 2 years if stored properly. The key to maintaining the quality of protein powder is keeping it in a cool, dry place, away from sunlight and humidity. The packaging should be airtight to protect the powder from moisture and contaminants, If whey protein is stored improperly or exposed to moisture, it can develop clumps or lose its flavor and texture. When protein powder goes bad, it typically develops a sour smell or taste, indicating that it has spoiled. In rare cases, improperly stored protein can develop mold, especially if it's been exposed to high levels of humidity. It's important to pay attention to the expiration date and the storage instructions to ensure that the protein powder remains safe and effective. Whey protein has come a long way from its humble origins as a byproduct of cheese production. Today, millions of bottles of whey protein are produced daily in factories worldwide, and this multi-billion-dollar industry continues to grow as more people discover its benefits. From dairy farms to manufacturing plants, from flavoring to packaging, the journey of whey protein is an intricate and fascinating process. But as the industry grows, so do the challenges. Ethical concerns about dairy farming, environmental sustainability, and product transparency are all becoming more prominent. As consumers, we need to ask, are we getting the quality and purity we pay for? Will the demand for whey protein continue to rise, or will new challenges shape its future?